once again. The time of year when the days grow short and the nights grow cold, and the veil between the realms of the living and the dead is at its thinnest. All Hallows Eve is upon us once again in Tamriel, and as is tradition, we find ourselves wandering the land to experience the way the denizens of Skyrim celebrate this festival. This year, we find ourselves on the far northern coast of Skyrim, on the shore of the Sea of Ghosts, a very apt name given the night. Evening is falling. The last warmth of the sun is tinting the clouds pale pink, and it will soon give way to the chill of the night. We happen to be not too far from the residence of an acquaintance of mine. When you've wandered Skyrim for as long as I have, you make friends, some odder than others, and this acquaintance is not going to be home tonight, but they did say we could make use of their manor to rest for the night. And given that the night is coming on quickly, I'm very glad for their offer. Moreover, their residence is quite unique, as you shall see. Quite a sight, I am told, though I've never been inside. But that is going to change here tonight. So let's make our way to Karlov Manor and see what we might find there on All Hallows Eve. I know we're not far away, though I'm not precisely sure where the manor is from here. If we can navigate these trees and emerge from the dark forest, I suspect we will find our destination. What a spectacular night it is for a wander. Look at Masser, illuminated in the sky, wreathed in a ghostly veil, and just as the moon emerges from behind the trees, so too does Karlov Manor. It would seem we have found our destination for tonight. What a spectacular view we have from here. The silver moonlight a bit foreboding, silhouetted as it is against the sky and the sea of ghosts. But I am told we will find comfort within. So, let us journey forth. A bitter chill lingers in the air, and somehow, as we approach the manor, it gets colder still. As I mentioned earlier, this friend of mine, they're, well, different. Not quite normal, but I do believe they were genuine when they offered us their abode, or a place of respite. Colder still it becomes, and now flurries are falling from the sky, the snowflakes in their millions drifting down. My friend has a penchant for statuary, it would seem. And here we arrive in the front courtyard of Karlov Manor. It towers above us, a great mountain of stone and stained glass. Who knows how long the structure has stood in watch on the coast. Outside here is a monument of sorts. And strewn across the ground are blood-red maple leaves. Even the death bell here is a vivid shade of crimson. Yet more of these foreboding, grotesque statues flank the front entrance. And the scarlet death bell is planted all around. A pair of sturdy horses awaits for someone to take this cart to parts unknown. But we won't be traveling abroad tonight. Our destination lies within. Let's head inside Karlov Manor. inside stands in stark contrast to the dour exterior. For within, the opulence of this abode becomes apparent. Look at how spectacularly well appointed this residence is. My goodness, no cost has been spared in the luxury heaped upon this place. And if we crane our necks upward and up and up, the vaulted ceilings seem to soar into the sky. And situated in the middle of this great hall, the most spectacular chandelier I think I have ever seen. Just remarkable. And yet, there is one similarity between the dour exterior and the opulent interior. That is the crimson all around. The vivid blood-red paneling on the walls serves as a reminder of the nature of my friend and their condition, shall we say. Look at this. The penchant for statuary, or in this case taxidermy, I suppose, continues on the inside with this remarkable bear. Somewhat threatening, some might say. Even the pillars and the walls are finely carved and painted with botanical motifs. No surface is left unadorned. Over here in the corner, a luxurious chaise, all gilded and crimson, and some fairly mundane looking food has been left out, perhaps for guests such as ourselves. Even the candles are blood red. Well, it would be a shame to come to somewhere like this and simply find somewhere to curl up and sleep. My friend did say to feel free to explore the manor, and I think that's exactly what we should do. My goodness. What a remarkable space this is. From the very fine, beautifully woven rugs on the floor to the taxidermy that is found here, to these spectacular windows overlooking the Sea of Ghosts and the rest of the elegant decor. This room certainly makes iron suit of armor is stood against the wall with a remarkable weapon held in its grasp. Very finely crafted. Fires crackle in the hearths, almost as if they prepared for us to be here, knowing it would be cold outside tonight. Some of the art on the walls is, I must admit, a bit disconcerting. But that is to be expected of a place like this belonging to someone like my friend. This is a spectacular array of weaponry, finely tooled, wickedly sharp. Moving through into the next room, my goodness. Another breathtaking space, a grand banquet hall. Here, another spectacular chandelier hangs from the ceiling. And above, one of the most spectacularly painted ceilings I have ever seen. It seems to depict scenes of debauchery, perhaps of suffering. It's difficult to tell, but just looking at it makes one uneasy. Yet more spectacular windows line the eastern wall of this room. The walls seem to be made of fine marble. The human skull is a bit grotesque, but somehow fits with the decor, as do the blood-red roses. Friend has amassed a great collection of belongings. They have been collecting for a very long time. As you can see, they have only the finest of possessions. Golden hilted rapiers, gilded urns, the finest art from all across Tamriel. When you are as old as my friend, you develop a taste for the finer things. Yet more skulls adorn the mantle. table has been set with the finest pressed linens, crystal, and, dare I say, silverware. Oddly, in the center of the table, we find not a meal, but rather a dagger. Whatever could that mean? And I think perhaps what we originally took to be silverware may in fact be plated with gold. Look at the detail on the knife. It's difficult to tell exactly what the material is, but given the nature of my friend, silver would be an odd choice, to say the least. Now this is a bit more like what I expected to find on a banquet table here. All manner of viscera and organs. The hearts are particularly apparent. We shan't be partaking in any of that, of course. We'll find something more suitable for our palates and stomachs. But there is ample food here for those with different tastes. Look at the detail of these sconces, these wall fixtures, the gorgeous crystal, the burnished gold. Speaking of food, it looks like we found the kitchen. All sorts of meat stuffs here, sausages hanging from the ceiling. Normally at this time of year one would expect seasonal treats, perhaps pumpkin pies or apple pies, candy corn, and the like, but here we find no such collection of treats. Although there are some vegetables, some crusty bread, and some fish to be found. Once again, somewhat surprising, given the ownership of this manor, but perhaps they were expecting guests like us. I think we should head upstairs. There's certainly more to explore down on the ground floor, but I fear that if we poked our noses into every nook and cranny, we would be here all night, and we might end up finding something we were best not seeing. What a spectacular chandelier. An incredible centerpiece. And a breathtaking setting. some disconcerting art on the walls. I think perhaps I am glad we are here on our own tonight. This parlor is surprisingly warm and comforting. The massive bear aside. All the furniture looks so comfortable, doesn't it? So opulent. Here we find wine glasses with something in them that is too viscous, too opaque for wine, but it is certainly a deep red. The owner of this manor is a very refined individual. As I said, when you are as old as they are, you gain a taste for the finer things. Here is a antique violin. And just over here, a spectacular piano. More vaguely unsettling art on the walls. Definitely a theme in here. Goodness, every corridor, every room beckons us with dazzling decor. Look at the ceiling. Beautifully painted. More art. Oh look, life imitates art. With a skull and a quill. And a glass knocked over. This is a lovely scene, depicting one of the many windmills around Skyrim, perhaps. Let's head up one more level. I believe we've finally reached the top floor of this spectacular manor, and now we can look down upon the chandelier and all its crimson candles. Whatever would one do with this much space, this many rooms, this much opulence? Another remarkable room, perhaps a ballroom, although right now it has a massive chaise lounge in the middle. But even more spectacular is the ceiling. Goodness, there's so much to see in this residence. Every surface just bursting with ornamentation. It's almost an assault on the senses. One hardly knows where to look. The art is somewhat grim. Certainly the decor here leans towards the macabre. I'm not even quite sure what's going on here, but I think I have a guess. This fellow looks troubled. My friend is not home tonight because they said they were out and about for All Hallows Eve. Something about a hunt. I couldn't tell you exactly what, but it would seem we have found what might be the main bedroom, or the main suite, as it were, because my goodness, this bedchamber alone is easily larger than the houses of most citizens of Skyrim. All manner of very fine and elegant items and belongings can be found. The bath chamber. The decor is interesting. Interesting choices. But it's hard to argue it's not cozy in here. A luxurious bath has been drawn here. Rose petals floating gently on the surface. And here, a dressing chamber. Jewelry boxes. A jeweled circlet or two. An absolutely massive diamond. And much more. More glasses filled with questionable liquid. Although this one looks like it could just be wine, in fact. A red. But I think it's just wine. However, here it looks like someone had a snack of sorts and did not clean up after themselves. as old as they are, also has amassed a great number of books. Books are something I love very much, and I believe their library can be found at the end of this hall. The pale moonlight from outside filters through these amazing glass windows, leaves shadows on the floor of the hall. What do you suppose is in here? A study of sorts. Many books can be found here, although this is just a small fraction of what can be found in the main library, or so I am told. And here's something curious. What appears to be a station for alchemy, perhaps. But look at these ingredients. A jar of eyeballs. Now where do you suppose they got those eyeballs? What looks to be a noxious poison. More skulls, of course, and mysterious flasks of questionable liquids. More eyeballs. And cobwebs. Cobwebs everywhere. This room is clearly disused, and it's giving me the heebie-jeebies, so let's carry on. Here, at long last, I believe we have found the library. And given the grotesque and macabre nature of the decor in much of the rest of the house, I think I feel much more at ease here. Amongst the shelves of books, the rows of parchment. It smells of old paper, musty leather binding, the sweet smell of the glue on the spine. It's a scent I delight in. Even in here, however, the art is somewhat disconcerting. That just appears to be the style, really. Oh, and of course, as ever, we must look up here and to appreciate what might be the most outlandishly ornate ceiling we have yet seen in a house full of outlandishly ornate ceilings. This one is something else. It's difficult to comprehend how much work would go into creating something like that. But my friend, must admit, all this exploration has got me quite sleepy, and it is quite late after all. Night had already fallen when we arrived here at Karlov Manor. And given that this is perhaps the coziest room we have yet found in this house, I think this would be a fine place to bed down for the night. There are certainly enough chaises and comfy-looking chairs about to serve the purpose. And we even have a roaring fire in the hearth here. And so, my friends, I think this will be the end of our wander tonight. And it marks the end of another wander on All Hallows Eve. I thank you very much for joining me here today. I do hope you enjoyed our wander here today. And wherever you may be, and whatever you might celebrate at this time of year, whether it's All Hallows Eve, or Samhain, or Halloween, I wish you and yours a safe and happy celebration. Farewell for now, my dear friends. And this, of course, is the part of the video where I give special thanks to this channel's amazing supporters, those intrepid adventurers who join me on our channel journeys and support what I do, whether through the Patreon or through the YouTube memberships. I am so grateful for their support, and I cannot thank them enough, which is why I do it in every video. There is one particular tier, the Fusro tier, that gets a special spoken shout out in every single video by name, and you are about to hear their illustrious names right now, starting with Jake Luffney, Drummer Britt, Ragnar Ragnarsson, and Joe. Simply Joe, but no less special for having a short name. Also, a big shout out to our latest YouTube member, Charlie. Charlie, thank you so much for joining us and supporting this channel and community. It means a lot. Once again, a big, big heartfelt thank you to all this channel's amazing supporters.